I didn't recognize the correlation between your movie, Obama's America, and his targeting, and I didn't see it. And perhaps naively, perhaps we've just enjoyed such a prosperous free nation that we didn't see this coming, which is both a positive commentary on America and a negative commentary on history education. But I see it very differently now. When I look back, I say, oh, okay, they were moving the Overton window. Just like when big tech banned Alex Jones, they banned Alex Jones because of the things that he was saying that people didn't want to defend. They find this tiny little infraction that you committed that others have committed, not justifying it, not saying it was right, but jail, really? A threat to society? Putting you away from your family? I mean, that's unheard of for something like that. And they're just moving it closer and closer because they know there are so many laws on the books that even those of us who are squeaky clean, have clean records, don't violate the law, somewhere, sometime, there's probably some violation they could get us on if they want to, when they want to.
This is a key point, Liz, and I've had conversations with people, and I play a little game. I say, all right, you're a straight-laced guy. You play by the rules. Why don't you talk to me for 10 minutes about who you are, what you do, where you live, what your family is like? And at the end of the 10 minutes, I will tell you 3 ways in which, if I were the police state, I would be able to indict you. And I'm talking about actual criminal statutes. So, for example, a doctor. Any doctor can be indicted on prescribing unlawful pain medicine. It's a classic way to go after someone. All you have to do is find one patient who says, I was given this pain medication and I didn't really need it. And then the government will bring in some experts who say, under that condition, we would not have prescribed the pain medicine. Now, this is a criminal offense. And so what the government does, and I actually saw this in the confinement center, I found doctors who had become targets of prosecutors for one reason or another. And the prosecutor comes to them and says, well, listen, you're facing 5 years in prison for this offense. But if you agree to pay a $100,000 fine, you can serve 6 months. You just can never practice medicine again. Now, think about it. It doesn't matter if you're completely innocent, facing 5 years and the ruination of your life, your reputation, cutting off your relationship with your family, or you take this 6 months and you got to go now sell real estate or do something else. I mean, look at the way this is a legal type of bludgeoning, but to me, it's still naked police state tactics. I mean, what makes our police state so unique is it marches behind the banner of law and democracy and fighting for the truth against misinformation and affirming freedom. So as a result, a lot of people are lulled into complacency. They're like, it's not happening here because I don't see any Stalin overcoat. I don't see any Hitler mustache. I don't see any death camps. So clearly, we're not a police state.
Well, in that sense, maybe we haven't taken that final step towards it. I mean, I think you lay the argument out in your film that we are on a path towards that, even though there hasn't been a revolutionary vanguard or a violent overthrow. There has been an infiltration, which I think a lot of us have come to realize with more clarity since COVID, since we've seen all of our, especially our cultural institutions, being infiltrated by not just leftists, not just radical leftists, but actual Marxists. I want to talk to you, though, a little bit about the entrapment examples that you showed in your film, because those were the examples that I was not familiar with. Some of the other stories we've heard on the news, even though you go deeper into the details, but some of these examples of the FBI not just becoming informants of a plot or buddying up to people they think will commit a crime so that they can then stop the crime being committed, but actually encouraging and enabling and funding the crimes, basically creating the criminal conspiracy themselves just to arrest someone who never would have committed a crime. It's almost hard to believe up until this point in our country that this would happen as often as it does.
I wouldn't have believed it myself. In fact, just a few years ago, if someone came to me and said, I'm making a movie called Police State, I would have thought that they were making it about North Korea or some other country. So the very fact that these sort of defining features of police states have now crept into the United States is, I think, a matter of great alarm. It's also a matter of great alarm because ours is a country explicitly founded on the affirmation of basic rights, which are not open to political negotiation. If you think about our constitutional structure, our Bill of Rights, the key point, the key meaning of having a Bill of Rights is that that's not up for political negotiation. A majority of people do not have the right to cancel out your right to free speech or my right to conscience. That is outside, in a sense, of politics. And you just need constitutional amendments and supermajorities that are impossible to get to be able to trample on those rights, except the one way you can trample on them is you start ignoring the Constitution or trying to find ways around it. And so what happens typically in the case of censorship is the government doesn't want to directly censor. They don't want to be busted with their hand in the cookie jar. So they hand off the list of people to be banned to an intermediary, typically a nonprofit. Hey, Stanford Internet Observatory. Hey, Virality Project. We got a list for you. You go give that list to Google or to YouTube or to Facebook and let them ban all these people. And that way we are censoring at one step removed, and maybe the courts won't be able to bust us, for doing it. So this is a creepy time in America, I would say. And while we're not all the way there in terms of a police state, it is incredible how far we have come in such a short time. I mean, look at our basic liberties: free speech, freedom of conscience, the right to assemble, the right to petition the government fearlessly for redress of grievances, and equal rights and equal justice under the law. Now, are a single one of those rights now completely secure? No, they're all in danger.